Today, I choose to be grateful, so grateful. Today, I choose to be grateful.
Our church affirmation for this year is now is the time. Now is the time to breathe the strength of love, isn't it? To be that strength of love. To be part of a shift in the balance of world consciousness. What is it Gandhi said? To be the change we want to see, right? It's up to us. It's our responsibility. There is a divine plan for each of us. For each of us. Each of us have a purpose. And the greatest way to discover that purpose, to live that purpose, is to develop our consciousness. Last Sunday, Reverend Therese was here, and she spoke about our 12 spiritual powers. How many of you know what those are? You're going to find out. We each have these divine powers within us. We call them, they're called attributes, they're called faculties, they're called many different things. We have a class on Tuesday mornings, the 12 spiritual gifts, in which we're studying them, picking them apart. And we're going to put it on the screen now so you can see what they all are. Faith, strength, and they go in order: judgment, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, zeal, elimination, and life. Each of these powers reside within us. And we're going to be talking about them over the next several Sundays. When we awaken these powers in us, when we activate them, because they're there, we can't be without them, we raise not only our own consciousness, but the consciousness of those people that are close to us. You know how you try to change people? It doesn't work, does it? But when I raise my consciousness, it starts to take effect. We raise the consciousness of everyone around us, and it starts raising the world consciousness. Look how powerful we are. Today's talk is on the first two powers, faith and strength. We started this class Tuesday mornings about 4 weeks ago. They're laughing. Class is 2 hours long, and we've spent those 2 weeks talking about the first two powers. So these folks are really getting to live this and know what this is inside them. Jesus told us, the works I do, you will do, and what? Even greater. And what that means is those powers that were in him, those things, a part of him he used to create miracles, to heal, is within us. They're always there, but they're lying idle because we don't tap into them, because we believe our power is out here. These spiritual powers are mightier than any circumstance we can face. When we activate them, there's an inner transformation that takes place. And our human consciousness is actually altered. Our Christ consciousness is awakened, which means the same consciousness that Jesus lived from. Our focus shifts from our limited mind, ego, way of looking at things to awareness of who we really are, what we came here to be, what our purpose is. And we begin to see life and others, the world, differently. And when we do, when I start to see my world out here differently, guess what happens? It changes. And miracles happen. So the first power we're going to talk about is faith. And Dan, you have that scripture there, and you've all heard this. It's in Hebrews 11. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. What in the world does that mean? You know, you kind of have to sit there, you have to look at it, and do you feel it? My intellect can't grasp it. My head gets all tangled up trying to. Faith is assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not. It sounds nice. But why my mind has a problem is because faith is spiritual and not religious. Right? I used to, when I heard the word faith, I always thought about religion. I thought about having faith in that God in the sky, right? I had to have faith in that God up there if I wanted to be saved, if I wanted my prayers to be answered. But faith is spiritual. It's an inner knowing, and you all have it. It's that inner knowing way down underneath that no matter what, I'm okay. No matter what, I'm going to be okay. Because you've all had things happen, right? And you're still here today. You're okay. And at that time they were happening, it didn't feel so okay, did it? Everything that happens, everything is for my higher good. It is moving me toward what I came here to do. It is moving me toward developing my consciousness. Everything happens for my higher good. So this sole survivor of a shipwreck was washed on shore on a deserted tropical island. And he spent days looking at the horizon, looking for a ship, a boat, someone to come and rescue him, someone to come and save him. And after a while, he just gave up. And he found some things to build a little hut with. And he found some of the things from the shipwreck, and he put them in his hut, things he might be able to use. And he went and found water and food, and he stored that in his little hut. And one day, he was on the other side of the island looking for food. And a thunderstorm broke out. And he made his way back to his hut, but by the time he got there, it had been hit by lightning. And everything was destroyed. And he fell down on his knees. He went, "Why, God, why?" You ever been there? Yeah. So he managed to find a place to sleep for the night. And early morning, a noise woke him up. And he got up and he looked and he heard people yelling. And here was this boat coming into shore. And he went, "How did you find me?" And they said, "We saw your smoke signal." Our power of faith is the ability to see beyond appearances even when our hut is on fire. And knowing that that event and that situation is actually moving me toward my higher good. In the Bible, there's a story of a father who brought his son to Jesus for healing. And the father said, "I believe, help my unbelief." We can relate to that, can't we? I believe, help my unbelief. Because what happens when my hut's on fire? Where's my belief go? Where's my faith go? Here's the thing. There's a difference between belief and faith. Let me tell you, we took this apart in this class. There is a difference between belief and faith. What I believe at my subconscious level shapes how I see others and the world. What I believe shapes what I see, good or bad. So if I have negative beliefs roaming around in here, I'm going to be drawing to me my negative viewpoint of you and of the world, of situations. And I may complain, and I may get angry, and I may blame others, and I may tell my story over and over again. And what that draws is me continuing to be a victim, doesn't it? I don't know I have those powers inside me. And I create my same world over and over again. That's what belief does. Faith does not draw negative. And it will not bring anything into my life that is not right for the evolution of my consciousness. One of my teachers was Byron Katie. Who knows who Byron Katie is? A few of you. She wrote the book Love and What Is. I had the opportunity to start with her when she was first starting, when there were 5 or 6 of us around a picnic table. And I changed. My world changed from my experience with her. And this is why I am bringing Martha Creek in. Martha Creek is a direct student of Byron Katie. Byron Katie you can't get near these days. Thousands of people. But Martha can come out to the churches and bring her message. And here's what Byron Katie tells us. When your hut's on fire, how do you know this is supposed to be happening? Because it is. So what if? What if somebody rammed you in the back of your car when you were at the stoplight? What happens? Where do you go? Right? But what if you went, how do I know this is supposed to be happening? Because it is. Wouldn't you stop all that churning inside of you? And when you go, okay, what is this really about? Maybe I'm supposed to meet this person. Maybe this person's supposed to have something to do with my life. Maybe whoever comes to help with the ticket is somebody. We don't know. But when I change my viewpoint, I open every experience up to my higher good. Faith is an inner knowing. And what was so cool in class was the faces of the participants when all of a sudden they went, I've always had this. I've been using this. I didn't know it. See, these powers are in us. But we have to have our attention brought to them. It's an inner knowing beyond our intellect, beyond our thinking. We do not have faith. Heard this all your life, I have to have faith, right? We do not have faith. We are faith. I am faith. Say that to yourself. I am faith. I am faith. One more time, feel it. I am faith. Trust it. Use it to see past experiences, to see past those huts on fire, to knowing that everything happens for your higher good. Everything happens to move you from pain to peace. Our second power we're going to talk about today is the spiritual power of strength. So we're all familiar with our human strength, right? Muscles, force, mental stubbornness. And we use our human strength because of the belief. You hear that? Because of our belief that we need to defend, and protect ourselves. And what happens? It's exhausting. It wears me out because there is always someone stronger, right? And there's always somebody more stubborn. Spiritual strength is a resource that resides deep within us. And we do strength and faith together because they go together, hand in hand. So what is strength? Strength is stillness. It's quietness. It's poise. It's non-resistance. We've seen that with some of our great leaders, right? The power of non-resistance. It's my ability to keep peace. Be still and know that I am God. My strength is in my stillness. Can you feel that inside you? Strength is patience. It's being centered. It's centered endurance. It's persistent courage. It's being calm and uncomplaining. Patience. Take a breath. That's what we do when we want to call on patience, isn't it? Yeah. Strength is tolerance. Intolerance, irritability, anger, closed-mindedness are not a sign of strength, they're a sign of weakness. You know any friends that are in that? So instead of feeling you have to defend yourself from them, you're going to drop into your strength, and you're going to be tolerant, and you're going to be fair, and you're going to be open-minded, and you're going to allow them the freedom to experience life through their choices. That'll get them. That's strength. The next piece of strength is steadfastness. We had great fun with that word. That's a powerful word, isn't it? Steadfastness. That means I put this living, loving presence at the head of my life. I stay centered in that. I stay anchored in that, focused in that. I move from that. And when I do, I'm unwavering despite appearances and disappointments. You want to learn steadfastness? Become a minister of a church. And the last one, strength is balance. It's getting the balance between my thinking and my feeling. You know how sometimes it's like, oh yeah, this is what I should do, so I'm doing something nice out here, and what's going on inside, right? So balancing the two. Having them so balanced that nothing can knock me off center. That I stay centered no matter what. We always have these spiritual powers of faith and strength. And the class really liked the idea of being that when I am strong, when I have the most strength, I am steadfast in my faith. What does that feel like? You can feel that inside you, right? Being steadfast in my faith, being strong. When our hut's on fire, when something is not going my way, I can reach within. I can become still, and I can anchor in that steadfast faith. And what happens when I do that is there's a quiet courage that just starts to move through me easily. And I meet any situation with unwavering strength. And so now I'm going to show you a 40-second clip of Martha Creek, who's coming in 2 weeks. Dan, do you have that for us?
The presence of your resources when you are up against a challenge or something's not going your way, that you reach inside of you and you find a way to get through it, whatever it is. And then to the degree that we can do this, we stop expecting other people to fix and rescue and understand us or respect us, that we begin to see that all that seeking that I'm doing outside of myself for somebody else to love and approve of me and appreciate me and acknowledge me is my job also. So I'm back to my inner resources. And imagine your life, what it would be like in your life if you stop seeking anything from another human being.
What would happen if you stopped making others responsible for your happiness? What would happen? Just the greatest miracle of all. You'd find it inside yourself. Eckhart Tolle, he wrote The Power of Now, A New Earth. This is what he says. If the structure of the human mind remains unchanged, we will always end up recreating the same world. Some changes look negative on the surface, but you will soon realize that space is being created in your life for something new to emerge. When my hut is burning down, it is making room for something new. It's for me to be rescued into something that's even better for me. Change requires letting go, and it requires courage. And now is the time. This is the year we're going to do it. We're going to get it in this church. It requires faith. It requires strength. And these 12 powers are tools that we are going to use to get there. To know that we are the being underneath the thinker. Do you know that? Do you know that you are the being underneath the thinker? Do you know that you are the stillness underneath the noise? Do you know that you are the love and peace underneath the pain? Do you know that's inside you? We have a choice. We have a choice to stay at the same level of consciousness and keep creating what we've got, or evolve and raise our consciousness, not only our consciousness, but the world's. Now is the time to activate our spiritual powers. So this week, if your heart catches fire, don't panic, don't react, accept it, and that's how small it's going to get. Accept it for what it really is, an opportunity to use your spiritual powers of what? Faith and strength. God bless you.